Welcome to Javasi Maths. My name is Gavin and I'm going to be assisting you with your maths problems. And today we're going to be talking about algebraic equations. Last video we spoke about the positive and the negative in an algebraic expression or equation. And today we're going to be speaking about multiplication and division. So let's dive in and start straight away. So in the last video, we saw that in primary school we had a little box. It usually looked like this: a little box plus 5 is equal to 10, and they would say find the missing value, and we would work it out in our heads. But this block is actually equal or the same as the x or y that comes in later when we reach the middle grades and the higher grades of our schooling. And this is what confuses a lot of students. We're going to talk a bit about that a bit later. So all these are the x, the y, this little block over here is a placeholder for an unknown number or point. So we have to solve for them. They're unknown, and we have to figure out what is their value. So we also learned in the last video that if it's a positive or a negative, say there's a positive on this side of the equal sign, when it goes under, it changes to a -5. And we're going to see if that fundamental mathematical statement is true for multiplication and division as well in algebraic equations or expressions. So here is a typical sum that we would have got in primary school, and they would have said find the missing value of this sum. And so this is our missing value here. What times 10 equals 20? And we would have worked it out in our minds, and we say, well, what times 10 would give me 20? Well, it's 2 times 10. 10 can go into 20 twice. And we'd skip the middle step and we'd go right to the last step where we would say, well, that is equal to 2, or in most cases we used to write the 2 in the square. So this middle step here was completely ignored, and we would just go straight to the answer. Now when you got to the middle grades and higher grades of your schooling, when you get there, all of a sudden that's not good enough anymore. There's no more finding the missing value of, but now they're going to ask you to solve for, it's usually x, but in this case, because our multiplication sign looks like the x on our keyboard, we're going to say solve for a. Remember, it can be any letter of the alphabet. It's representing a missing value that we have to find. So here we have exactly the same sum, exactly the same. What times 10 equals 20? What times 10 equals 20 on this side as well? But this fact that we have now got a letter in the sum, and the sum or the question is asked in a different way. It's asked now solve for a, confuses students. The fact that we are required now to put in the second step where our multiply by 10 changes to divide by 10. And a lot of students don't understand why that process takes place. So we're going to find that out. And to see, like we said, they don't understand why the multiply by 10 changes to a divide by 10. And in the last video we said there's a myth that if a horse were to go under a rainbow, it would change into a unicorn. And if a unicorn were to run under a rainbow, it could change into a horse. We had a little video that illustrated that, so let's have a look at that video just to refresh our memory. So yeah, a horse goes under the rainbow, turns into a unicorn, so it changes form. Is the review. Well, let's have a look. And there goes a unicorn, and it changes into a. Right, so we see that what do we learn from our little illustration for those that haven't seen it already? Well, say now our horse represents a multiplication sign, a unicorn, the division sign, and our equal sign represents the rainbow. Let's give it one extra just for fun. So if the horse goes under the rainbow, it changes form. So it goes from a multiplication sign to a division sign. And the opposite is also true. If a division sign or unicorn were to go under the rainbow, it would change into a horse or into our multiplication sign. And we can see that here. Here is our multiply by 10 goes under our figurative rainbow, which is the equal sign, and it changes into divide by 10. And this is a golden rule of algebraic equations that we need to learn and understand. We have learned that just like the positive and the negative sign will change, positive will turn into negative when it goes under the equal sign to the other side, and negative will change into positive. So the same rule applies to multiplication and division. If the multiplication sign goes under the equal sign, it changes to division. And if it's division, it changes to multiplication. We've also learned, and we need to know, that the alphabet, the letter that is in the algebraic expression or sum, represents an unknown number or quantity that we have to find. So let's do this sum together. We have a unknown quantity here. This is how we would have got it in school. And so how do we solve for this? Well, this would have to go under the rainbow to this side, which means our multiplication will change to division. So we have our square is equal to 15 divided by 5. And so the square is equal to 3. And that's quite easy. Eh? So we know that's our little rainbow. Let's see if we correct. Yes, very nice. Sum here, and maybe you can do it with me on a piece of paper. So here we've got a times 5 is equal to 15, is exactly the same sum as this side. So we know again this has to go under the rainbow, which is represented by an equal sign. It means that this multiplication sign is going to change form and become a division sign, like the horse turning into a unicorn. So we're going to have a, because we want a on its own. We want the unknown variable on its own, and that will be equal to 15 divided by 5. And so then it's easy. We know a will be equal to 3. And if we were to bring this 3 back into the sum, and we say 3 times 5, we know 3 times 5 is 15. So we know our answer is correct. Right, so let's have a look at another one. Now we've changed again. We say solve for B. We're doing this on purpose so that you get used to the idea that it can be any letter of the alphabet that they can put in here. So right, so do it with me. If you've got a piece of paper, I'm sure by now you're really good at it, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy this. So let's have a look here. We know that our multiply by 14 will go under the rainbow, under the equal sign, and when it goes, it changes form. Like a horse changes to a unicorn, it becomes divide. So we're going to say B, and the reason why we want the unknown variable, we want it on its own. So we get equals, and we've got 28 divide by 14. So we know that our B is equal to 2. Very nice. And if we take that back into the sum, 2 times 14 is 28. So we know it is correct. Excellent. Right, let's do one more. We have a C divide by 5 is equal to 10. Right, so now it's not multiplication, but it's division. So again, the same rule applies. So we can say this horse is now represents division, and this one multiplication. And we have our rainbow. Remember, there's nothing that says that the horse has to be one particular thing. And so when it goes under, it changes from division to multiplication. And that's exactly what's going to happen here. This expression is going to go under our little rainbow, which is the equal sign, and it's going to change from division to multiplication. So it's going to be C is equal to 10 times 5. C is equal then to 50. And if we were to take this and take it back up into the sum, if we say 50 divide by 5, we know it's going to be equal to 10. So our answer is correct. Beautiful. We get a different algebraic expression, and we have a 60 divided by a is equal to 15. So we see that this division sign now falls by the a, the unknown expression. What do we do in a case like this? How do we solve this? Do we follow the same steps? Yes. Remember, in our video, we showed that the rainbow, if a horse goes under the rainbow, it changes into a unicorn. But the reverse is also true, is if the unicorn were to come under the rainbow, it would change into a horse. So in fact, what happens here is we have to move both of these totals, or both of these variables. So the 15 must come over, and the a must go under. So we're going to move this one. Sorry, sort my pen out here quickly. Okay, there we go. Okay, beautiful. So there we go. So if we bring the a, this over, it's multiplication. So when the 15 comes over, because it's multiplication, it will change to division. So we mustn't think that this must now become a negative. We mustn't think this is positive, and when it comes over, it must be a negative. So make that mistake. So when that 15 comes over, because it's a multiplication sum, it has to change to division. So can we see we are changing, this is coming over and this is coming over. And this is a very, very important step. We need to take note of this, because you could get a sum like this in the exam. So it means that the a will come over this side, and this becomes a divide. 60 divided by 15. So 15 can go into 64 times, which means a is equal to 4. If we were to take this back up into the sum, 60 divided by 4 gives me 15, so we know our sum is correct. So I hope this makes it clearer for you, more understandable, and I hope that you ace your next algebraic equation exam. So we want to say thank you very, very much for joining us for this video. I hope it has been helpful. I hope you have found it informative, and if so, please press the like button and also subscribe. This is Gavin signing out, and cheers for now.